Welcome back to Technically Challenged. In this video, I wanted to look at a piece of software called Tmux. Why I use it, how I use it. Great. Welcome back to Technically Challenged. In this video, I wanted to take a look at Tmux. Why I love Tmux and how I use it. How did I find Tmux? Well, I was working at a fast-paced startup and I was working in a bunch of different repos. I always had tons of different terminals open. And so after a few months of this, I started researching, how can I keep all of my terminal sessions in one place? How can I kind of bring some sanity, some organization, some structure to the insanity of all my terminals and the different things I was working on at one time? And the answer to that for me turned out to be Tmux. What is Tmux? It's a terminal multiplexer, hence the name Tmux, and it lets you switch easily between several programs in one terminal. You can detach them while they keep running in the background, and then you can reattach them to a different terminal. Now, this is really a game changer to my workflow, and one of the main reasons is because it can keep all of my terminals in one place. I can add organization, I can add structure, I can add names to the different windows and workspaces. I can move them around, and there's shortcuts to quickly navigate from one workspace or window to another. It's very fast and lightweight. I can save my sessions across reboots with something like Tmux Resurrect because it supports plugins, and it has a zoom feature, which I'll show. Now, some of the cons of using Tmux is it's got some bit of a learning curve with some of the shortcuts that you need to learn. There's a concept of a prefix, which is ctrl-b by default, which you can change. That's a little bit weird to start. If you've used Vim at all, it's kind of similar to how Vim works in some ways, but that's just one of the caveats. There are a few commands that you need to learn. And also sometimes scrolling can be a little bit weird as well, depending on what terminal application you're using. I want to give a quick demo of what my simple Tmux workflow looks like. So once you've installed Tmux, you can use Homebrew if you have that, or from their Git. There's instructions on their Git page. You just type Tmux and you have access to it. It automatically logs you in to a new session. Once you're in here, you can use your prefix, so Ctrl-B, to do different things. So if I want to see a list of all the windows, for example, I could do prefix and then W, and it shows me the open windows. There's only one terminal in my current session. So you can press escape to get out of that, very similar to kind of a Vim setup there. But let's say I want to create a new terminal window. I can do prefix C for create, and now I have two. If you look at the bottom, you'll see I have two sessions, 0 and 1. If I do prefix W, I now have two windows here, and I can navigate through them through the HJKL Vim arrow bindings, if you're familiar with that, or you can use your arrow key. I like HJKL because it's just way faster and you don't have to move your hand. Hit escape to go back. You can also navigate through them by hitting the numbers. So if I hit prefix 0, I'm in window 0. If I hit prefix 1, I've switched to window 1. So if I do prefix 0, prefix 1, you see I've switched between them. You can also see the tab of where I am on the bottom left. It switches left and right from 0 to 1. So this is all great and fine and dandy, but it doesn't stop there. The power and the customization is virtually limitless. If I go back to pane 0, for example, and I want to make a split pane, let's say I have a few different windows that are working in the same project. Well, I can do prefix double quotes, so that'd be shift single quote there, or shift apostrophe. It now gives me a horizontal pane. And I could do the very same thing and do prefix %, and that gives me a vertical line or two horizontal panes next to each other. And I could do the same thing below with prefix %, and now I have 4 panes. I have this set up in my config to use HJKL, but you can do prefix arrow keys and jump between the windows, or if you add it into your Tmux config, you can use HJKL. So it's pretty cool. I use this a lot. So now I have 4 windows, and let's say I'm working in a directory like projects Tmux. Well, now I can jump in here and work in a different directory, like make directory projects Tmux temp. And then I can cd into that. And now I have 2 different things going on here. Nothing is, oops, one folder is in this, one folder is in this directory, and nothing is in this directory. And I can jump around them and quickly move. And let's say I need to switch or look at another piece of code, or I need to look in another project. Someone asks me a question. I can go to my other window, or I can just do prefix 1 and go and do some work in a completely different directory. So that's really powerful, but it doesn't stop there. I can do prefix comma and rename this. Let's say this is project 2. And let's go back to my first set of panes here. I can rename that project 1. And now when I look at my windows, I can keep them organized. I'd usually organize these by the name of the project or the repo or the code I'm working with. And I might even do something like this, temp, and just have a whole window where I can just run random scripts and things like that. Use the node REPL to double check some code that I'm trying to run, stuff like that. So those are a couple of main features. Let's say you've made a mistake though, and you don't want to have all of these windows. Well, you can kill them. You can do prefix X, and you can get rid of one of those windows. So now I only have 3. Let's say I don't want that window. I can do prefix X, get rid of it. Now I only have 2. So you can get rid of them and create them on command very quickly and start doing things, which is very fast. And you can do it all without using a mouse and jumping around your computer or looking for things. So pretty cool. Let's go back to the example where I have multiple windows here. And let's say I'm focused on one project and I want to read some code. Well, I can do prefix Z and zoom in and just work on this code or work on this project without any distraction of all the extra panes on this same session. But if I want to get out of it, I can do prefix Z again, and now I have all my multiple ones for that same project. I use that a lot. The zoom feature is really, really helpful. Now let's say for some reason I don't need this right now. I can actually just detach. So I can do prefix colon detach. And now it's not showing in my terminal. But if I do Tmux list sessions, I'll have a session there. And to reattach it, I just type Tmux attach, and I'm right back to where I left off. Now, one of the really awesome features of Tmux is the ability to keep processes running in the background. So an example that I use all the time is at work I have a server that I need to SSH into, and I can do work on that server from my laptop. Well, sometimes I'm running a 10-minute or a 30-minute or an hour-long command, and my internet connection gets disconnected, and my process will stop. Well, come to the rescue is Tmux. Tmux, if you have access to install Tmux, or if it's already installed on the server that you're SSHing into, you can run your command. So for example, I'll zoom into this one, and I can do something like, while true, do echo hello Tmux. Sleep for 5 seconds, and done. And this will keep running. Every 5 seconds it'll print hello Tmux, and it'll just keep saying hello Tmux. What I can do is detach. And so imagine I'm SSH'd into a terminal that's running on another computer somewhere. This is running, and let's say I come back to it later, my internet reconnects, I log back in, I SSH back in, and then I can go Tmux attach. And here we go, it's been running, and it's printed a bunch more hello Tmux for me. So this feature has saved me tons of time not having to restart over and over again from where I left off on some long-running commands that I need to run. This is just a quick overview of a simple way that I use Tmux. I hope it's helpful for some of you out there. Tmux can do way more than what I just demonstrated. But if you like this kind of thing, hit that like button and let me know. I'll also leave some links in the description below for some different things related to Tmux that I like to use, and a tutorial for setting up the themes that I really like the way it looks, the one that you're seeing here. And thanks for watching, and see you next time. Great, great. It's the worst. This is the worst YouTube channel ever.